Next up, pick a side presentation. For this presentation, you're going to develop a very simple persuasive speech. You're going to build on the previous ideas of eye contact and conversational delivery. But to this particular presentation, you're going to add a little bit of research, and you're also going to start thinking of your topics in 1, 2, 3 main ideas. So let me talk about this a little further. First of all, pick a topic. I've given you 3 choices, and look at those 3 choices and select the one that most interests you. All of these topics are backed up with articles in the SIRS database. If you're accessing the SIRS database from off campus, I've given you some instructions on Angel with passcodes and IDs that you can use to log in. If you're accessing it from on campus, the links I have available under this assignment on Angel should hyperlink you directly to the articles that pertain to your topic. Next, write a specific purpose statement. Okay, I've already told you that the general purpose of this speech is to persuade. So now a specific purpose. At the end of this speech, what do you want your audience to believe, to know, to do? Say, for example, I'm going to do a speech on adopting a flat tax. My specific purpose statement might say, I believe that the United States government should adopt a flat tax, period. There's my specific purpose. But that's not quite enough. I'm going to need to build on that a little bit. And here's where I'm going to do it. I'm going to come up with 2 or 3 main ideas that support that specific purpose. So 2 or 3 main ideas why the United States government should adopt a flat tax. Now, please don't base this on your personal opinion. Read the articles available in SIRS, develop an informed opinion, and then use that information to come up with your 2 or 3 main ideas that are going to support your specific purpose. From all your speeches here on out, I want you to start doing this. I want you to not just think about, I'm going to give a speech on X. I want you to think on how you can divide that into 2 or 3 things that your audience will be able to remember, 2 or 3 supporting reasons that are going to back up the information or the persuasion in your particular speech. Next, put together an outline. We haven't covered this chapter yet. It's a little later in the book, and you can check your book for information on that. However, on Angel, I have some specific outlines for you that you can take a look at and see if that gives you some help. I also have a worksheet that I've put together for this particular speech, and if you want to follow along with that worksheet as you develop your outline, you're certainly welcome to do so and turn that in as well. So your own outline or the worksheet. Finally, practice your speech out loud. This speech is a little longer than your past speech, and the only way you'll know if it's long enough is to practice out loud and time yourself. Also, sometimes the way things sound in your head don't always come out that way when you say it out loud. Remember, I want conversational delivery, so I don't want you to write out your speech word for word in paragraph format. I want you to write out your basic ideas in an outline format, practice your speech off of that outline, and then ultimately give a conversational speech based on that outline. So, okay, as I've said, eye contact and conversational delivery, stating your central idea or claim at the introduction and conclusion. Remember I told you a minute ago that I want you to divide your speech into 2 to 3 main ideas? At the beginning of your speech, I want you to state those main ideas. Then in the body of your speech, you'll talk through those main ideas. And then at the end of the speech, you'll restate those main ideas one more time. So, I believe that the United States should adopt a flat tax for the following reasons: X, Y, Z. Then in the body of my speech, I'm going to talk a little bit about X. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about Y. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about Z, and then finally I'm going to end my speech. So I hope you'll support my idea for adopting a flat tax in the United States because of X, Y, and Z. Don't just restate, so now you've heard my reasons for adopting a flat tax. That's not enough. Restate those main ideas one more time. You're also going to orally cite a quote from one of the articles, and I'm going to talk about how to do that on the next slide. And finally, submit a typed outline and carry on your speech for 2 to 3 minutes of length. Okay, let's talk about those orally cited sources now. Here, I'm going to give you some examples of what you should and shouldn't do, starting with this first one. Research done by Mary Pompous shows that more deaths result from obesity than cancer and heart disease combined. Okay, the problem with this is unless Mary Pompous is a really well-known person that we've all heard of, it really just doesn't make any sense. So give Mary Pompous some credentials. Say she's with the Centers for Disease Control. Say Dr. Mary Pompous at Harvard Medical School says XYZ. Give her some credentials and then she's a good source. According to yahoo.com, More deaths result from obesity than cancer and heart disease. Okay. Yahoo is not a source. It's a search engine that you can use to find sources. Of course, in this case, I want you to use the SIRS database, so you're not using Yahoo, Google, Bing, any of those anyway. But again, going back over here, a study done in 2007 at Harvard University shows that more deaths result from blah, blah, blah. So Harvard University is the source, not Yahoo. I see this one a lot. 69% of Americans are overweight or obese. Okay, now on the surface it's fine, but the problem is you just threw out this number, and I know you didn't do the research yourself. I know you got that information from somewhere. So anytime you use a number in your speech, which I like numbers, numbers are good, just make sure you tell me where you got that information from. Finally, I hear this one a lot too. An article I read said that blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got to be more specific than that. Tell me which article it is. Tell me where it came from, and just enough of a tidbit to let me know as an audience member, I could go look up that information later on myself if I wanted to. So I could search Mary Pompous at Centers for Disease Control and Obesity. Or in this case, I could search Newsweek magazine, obesity, November 2010, and probably find the article you're referring to. You're going to prepare in later speeches a more detailed bibliography or research page, reference page. But for now, in this speech, all I want you to do is just get the hang of incorporating basic information into your speech using a quote from one of those SIRS database articles. So as you get ready to do this, remember when you're giving a public speech, a speech is just plain old talking. Remember, you're just talking to your audience. That's all you're doing. Don't think of this as something very formal and stiff. Just talk to your audience in a conversational format based on that well-prepared outline and research that you've practiced out loud. Good luck.